Similarly, there's actually a maamar of Yitzhak Kislev attributed to the fifth Lubavitcher Rebbe Shalom Ber from the year 1903, I think. Though some people have questioned if it's from the Rebbe Rashab, or if it's from a prominent chassid, but it opens up to explain the great question of why did the Torah of the Baal Shem Tov reveal itself only when it did and not before, and it goes there through various periods, like 4 periods of Jewish history, and showing why Dafka by the 1700s, the Jewish community, especially after Shabbat Tzvi, Chmelnytsky, and the beginning of the spread of Haskalah and Enlightenment, that Dafka then the Jewish community was like in a state of hisalfus, faintedness, and that's why Dafka then Chassidus had to come. By the way, incidentally, Chassidim say that's why we call it not just Chassidus but Teiris of Rebbe Yisroel Baal Shem Tov. Why? Because it says when someone faints, what wakes them up is if you whisper their name into their ear. So, being that the Klal Yisrael was in a state of being of having fainted, so they needed their name Yisrael to be whispered into their ear. Okay, so that's if you say so that works. Yisrael Baal Shem Tov. Incidentally, and that's again connected to our parsha, right? What we just read. Yaakov there's no more Yaakov. It's not just no more Yaakov, but he's Yisroel. And that Yisroel, the name Yisroel is a higher than Yaakov, right? It's getting deep. It's almost like the soul name of the Jewish people, and that's the name that stuck. It became the Iker name. It's not Eretz Yaakov, it's Eretz Yisrael. It's not Yaakov's Klal Yisrael, right? In fact, they say, right, it's also related directly to the whole Torah, which we know the famous acronym Yisrael is Yeh Shishim Ribu Isis the Torah. So right away, the name connects us with the whole Torah. Also, it's brought down in commentaries that the name Yisrael is the acronym of all the patriarchs and matriarchs. Aleph, you want to see the word Yisrael, Jonathan has it on his Shalom Yisrael image here. So the Aleph is Avraham. The Yud is Yitzchak and Yaakov. The Shin is Sarah. The Reish is Rivka and Rachel, and the Lamed is Leah. So it's they have all the patriarchs, all the obviously mice in the name Yisrael. And there are many other things related. Yisrael is Yashar Kel, straight alignment with God. It's all, or others say Shir Kel, the song of God, and on and on. So it's a very appropriate name. Now, if so, why do we still have the name Yaakov, right? Avraham, after he stopped being Avram, he was only Avraham, right? We never call him Avram again. But it's very mysterious because it says almost identical thing here that just like it says Avram, God says no more will your name be Avram but Avraham. That's why we stop using. It's like a name change, legal name change. It becomes Avraham. But here it's interesting that even though the Chumash says openly that the angel tells Yaakov that lo Yaakov Yisrael, right? That means we should be called Yisrael only Yisrael from henceforth with. But no, we still are also. He was also called Yaakov. Yisrael and what happened, and then on and on. So the Gemara in fact asks, why is that so? So the Gemara, I think it's Gemara Brachas. The Gemara answers because you see right away the next verse and on, the Torah goes unlike Avraham after he's changed to Avraham. The Torah never goes back to call him Avram again. But here, you see the next verse is on. He's being called Yaakov again. By Yishal Yaakov, and then the next part is by Yikra Yaakov, and on and on. So we see by Yisa Yaakov is Einav. So the Gemara says the fact. So since the Torah itself continues calling him Yaakov, therefore the Yaakov's name remains. Yet now it's just become a subservient second name, almost let's call it a middle name in a way, to the name Yaakov. But as Chassidus asks, Kabbalah asks, but how gufach it's this itself is the question. Why maybe that's a proof text explanation for it, the proof from the text why we could still call Yaakov. But what's the difference? Why Taka the difference? So I mean, there's a long discussion. There's a lot spoken about on it, but cut to the chase is why Yaakov. This is different than Avram. What is Avram? Avram means Avram. That Avram he's above. He's almost too lofty. He does not connect with the world, right? That he's remote. He's Ramga. So then he says, the Hayes Avhamungai, he comes down in amongst the people. So that draws him down into the world. What is the name Yaakov? Yaakov is, as we spoke about in the past, and when we began speaking about Yaakov, and maybe we'll flesh it out if time permitting, is Yud Akev. The same idea, in the sense of taking the Yud, which is the most is the highest exalted state of spirituality, like the Yud of Yud Vavke, or in places you refer to Keter and so on, and that goes into Akev, into the heel, to the lowest part region, right? And whereas Yisroel is the higher, loftier state, the soul state. In short, Yisroel is the soul name of the Jewish people. Yaakov is the body or physical name of the Jewish people, and that's why it's Yaakov, not just Akev, but Yaakov, to show that our mission is to permeate the Akev, even the lowest parts of the world, the heel at the bottom, the sole of the foot, S-O-L-E, of the foot, with the highest, loftiest level of spirituality, the Yud. So that mission that we have never goes away. That, in fact, is what we're supposed to do. That is our kavana, tachlis, here in this world. Now, of course, it's being reinforced, and spiritualized by Yisroel, but ultimately, Yaakov is what we're supposed to accomplish in this world. So we'll never give up Yaakov. Yaakov remains, and each complements the other. Yisroel complements Yaakov, Yaakov complements Yisroel. Okay, that is in very short the answer. There's a lot more we can flesh out about it. I'll just give one more detail here. That it's also, it's like almost that through the name of transitioning from Yaakov to Yisroel is saying that what is Yaakov also coming? We spoke about in the past. Like Isis and Yaakov that Yaakov cleverly outwitted Esav twice. So Yaakov is be going as like we say Nish Krum. Like not glut, not straight. What is Yisrael mean? Yashakel, being straight. Right? So it's the opposite in a way of the meaning of like so the angel is telling Yaakov, now that you fought me and you almost got me, you're revealing that you could take on the other side directly. You don't have to use these clever tactics, we spoke about in the past weeks, with being Ramai, Mirma. But you could use the straight path directly. Reveal yourself openly. You don't need to have a surface way and an inner different direct way. Yes, you needed to, and because in fact, Yaakov, as we mentioned, was each time he began straight, but then he was forced and encouraged through Rivka also to needing to play by Esav's own and Lavan's own game of using holy trickery, so to speak. And that's the only way, right? To be zelomazeh, right? So, but now that you show that you can even stand up not only to Esav but even to the Sarisha, so the Esav's guardian, spiritual angel. So all the more so now you don't have to use these trickery. You could be straight. Only when we're in the world of this physical world, which is full of it's an admixture of, like Alter Rebbe says in one of his last writings before he passed away, that the Olam and that this world is molish shkarim, or it says somewhere else, a mix of fallacy and truth in a way, like things are confusing. So then you got to use things. So it's we don't give up the Yaakov part entirely, But know that that is not the ultimate way. It's only ultimate in the way to bring the divine into even the heel itself. But there's a way to merge the Yaakov with the Yisroel to effectuate this going into the Akev in a straight way. So now the name Yaakov doesn't mean per se trickery, being makbayim, but more the emphasis on the Akev, the heel, to reach even the lowest of low levels. Okay, so this is related also to the two meanings of the levade, that Yaakov is alone, or to go this idea of the small, the just, or versus that he was niska Hashem levade, he was high. That that's two reasons for Chassidus in the world, was, as we're saying, even because of in Legreus, as we say in Gemara, even for the flaws of our current condition of galus, it's so dark, so distant from God, so we need an extra powerful light. That's one way. The second reason why Chassidus came dafka now is the opposite, in a positive way, the mal yusa. That since we're right before the sunrise, we're right imminent, right before the arrival of Mashiach, that therefore the halacha is that Peyameh, times at the Erev Shabbos, you're supposed to taste Farshbais. You're supposed to taste the food of Shabbos before Shabbos. So you get a familiarity with what's to come on Shabbos.